Time is 12 o'clock, and here's the media news. First, the top stories. Ogun State government stops payment of WAEC fees of public school students. Alaafin joins calls for Nigeria's restructuring. Aisha Buhari says God has answered prayers for husband's illness. A T-Salat quits Nigeria. Grenade attack kills 8, injures 43 in Burundi. Top US commander warns Iraq ISIS forces still in captured city of Mosul. I am Tobi Joseph, bringing you the news in details shortly. Ogun State government has stopped the payment of examination fees of final year pupils at the state public secondary schools for the West African Senior School Certificate Examination (WAEC). Education, Science and Technology Commissioner Mrs. Modupe Mujota, who broke the news to newsmen on the sidelines of the maiden edition of the public lecture at the Tanshalari College of Education in Umujebu, says the decision will reduce the pressure of funding education by the Musa administration. Mujota explains that the decision followed the submissions of stakeholders during the last education summit held in Abeokuta. The commissioner recalled that Governor Bikola Musa at the education summit asked parents and guardians of students at the state public secondary schools to be ready to pick the right bill of the children. The governor at the summit also revealed that his administration is paying 560 million naira for the WAEC fees of the students. The newly appointed medical director of the Federal Medical Center, Yaba Abeokuta, Professor Adewale Musa, has resumed office. The new medical director, who was among the 13 new executive directors appointed for some of the federal medical centers and teaching hospitals in the country, took over from the hospital's acting medical director, Dr. Isaac Huibu, who had been running the center since the end of the tenure of Dr. Dapo Shotiloye on June 20, 2016. Speaking during the handing over ceremony, the new medical director promised to ensure the upgrading of the hospital into a teaching hospital like its counterpart in Makurdi, Benue State and Ado-Ekiti in Ekiti State. The new medical director also promised to block leakages to the hospital's finances as well as run an inclusive administration by carrying along all the stakeholders in the hospital. Alaafin of Olamide Adeyemi has joined the growing calls for the restructuring of Nigeria. The monarch contends that the North region, under the present structure, is more favored in terms of revenue allocation and the number of states. Alaafin, speaking in Ibadan at a public presentation on the autobiography and postscript of late Premier Samuel Ladoke Akintola, says that Nigeria is facing challenges because of the monolithic means of financing the federating unit. He expressed concern about the domination of oil block awards by a section of the country at the expense of the oil-producing states. Southeast and South-South state governors have agreed on political cooperation and integration of the economies of the two regions. The governors at their maiden meeting held in Enugu appointed Governor Udom Emmanuel of Akwa Ibom State as the forum's chairman. They say that the two eastern regions have common heritage, culture, and destiny. The governors agreed to hold the next meeting in Port Harcourt on August 27. Those at the meeting include the governors of Enugu, Ebonyi, Akwa Ibom, Cross River, Imo, Abia, and Bayelsa State, as well as deputy governors of Edo and Delta states. The First Lady, Aisha Buhari, says God has answered the prayers of Nigerians for the quick recovery of her husband, President Muhammad Buhari, from his prolonged illness. Aisha hints that those she described as hyena and jackals were somewhat flushed out of Buhari's administration. Aisha Buhari stated this on a Facebook post on Monday, while reacting to a Facebook post by Senator Shehu Sani, who lamented the efficacy of prayers considering the prolonged illness of Buhari that they called the Lion King. The First Lady had just returned from the UK last week to see her husband, who left the country on May 7 on another round of treatment in London for an undisclosed illness. Earlier this year, Buhari, on a first medical trip to London, spent 50 days in the city. Lagos State government is constructing a pond to accommodate the massive flood water that has been ravaging Ikoyi, Victoria Island and Lekki axis of Lagos metropolis. The pond, which is being constructed at Shongotedo, is to act as a reservoir for the water during heavy rainfall. Environment Commissioner Dr. Babatunde Adeyemi, who made this known at the Water Technology and Environment Conference in Lagos, says the water retained in the reservoir will be released into the Okota River after the stoppage of rains. Also, former PDP Deputy National Chairman Chief Bode George asked the state government to stop sand filling of the Atlantic Ocean and lagoon to reduce flooding of the city. You're still listening to the Midday News on Rock City 101.9 FM. Up next, we bring you foreign, business, and sport news. Please do stay with us. The senior U.S. commander in Iraq has warned that the war against the so-called Islamic State (IS) is not over, despite a historic victory in Mosul. Lieutenant General Stephen Townsend warned that there were still IS fighters in Iraq and asked the government to reach out to Iraq's Sunni Muslim minority to stop IS from renewing itself. Commanders from the US-led coalition that has provided air and ground support to Iraqi forces said the urban combat had been most intense since World War II. Iraq's Prime Minister Haider al-Abadi has formally declared victory over IS in Mosul after a nearly 9-month battle that left large areas in ruins, killed thousands of civilians, and displaced more than 920,000 others. Iraqi army officers believed only a few dozen militants were left inside, along with their wives and children, who they said were being used as human shields. 7 Hindu pilgrims, 6 of them women, have been killed and 19 others injured in a militant attack in Indian-administered Kashmir after their bus apparently got caught in crossfire. The bus was returning from the Amarnath cave pilgrimage site in the Amantan district when the attack took place. Hardline Hindu groups linked to Prime Minister Narendra Modi's ruling party have long wanted to see tough action against the armed revolt against Indian rule in the Muslim-majority region. News of the attack has already sparked anger, with people demanding immediate retaliation on behalf of the pilgrims, most of whom came from Gujarat, Mr. Modi's home state. In business, Etisalat has terminated its management agreement with its Nigerian arm and has given Etisalat Nigeria 3 weeks to phase out the brand in the country. The Abu Dhabi-owned telecommunications network took the decision after its $1.7 billion loan talks with some Nigerian banks collapsed. Chief Executive of Etisalat International, Hatem Dowida, says on Monday that there is no need for the brand in Nigeria after the collapse of the loan talks. Dowida says discussions were ongoing with Etisalat Nigeria to provide technical support, adding that it can use the brand for another 3 weeks before phasing it out. Nigerian regulators, the Nigerian Communication Commission, intervened last week to save Etisalat Nigeria from collapse after talks with its lenders to renegotiate a $1.2 billion loan failed. Etisalat Nigeria, in a statement 3 weeks ago, claimed that it had paid 42% of the loan. Electricity generation in the country had dropped to 3,511 megawatts on Monday. The sharp drop is from 4,114 megawatts on Sunday. Data from Transmission Company of Nigeria (TCN) shows that the highest peak in electricity generation this month is 4,223 megawatts recorded last Friday. The Friday peak electricity generation quickly dropped to 3,089 megawatts same day. Most of the thermal power plants have been almost grounded following the acute shortage of natural gas. Finally, on the media news, sport news. Former English Premier League champions Leicester City have had an offer of £25 million accepted by Manchester City for striker Kelechi Iheanacho, according to Sky Sports. According to Sky Sports, a deal to bring the Nigerian international to the 2015 and 16 Premier League champions has been agreed in principle. Leicester City have beaten West Ham United in the race to acquire his services, with the Hammers still hopeful that former City star Pablo Zabaleta could persuade him to move to London. The 2015 and 16 League Cup winner started just once in 2017 under the former Barcelona boss last season, with Gabriel Jesus and Sergio Aguero preferred ahead of him. Super Eagles midfielder Genyo Nazi has returned to Turkey's Super League side Trabzonspor after days of uncertainties surrounded his future. It was reported last week the former Lazio player terminated his contract with the Turkish side after they failed to honor a financial agreement. Though the player refused to comment on the issue, his agent, a former Nigerian international Ayodele Makiwa, revealed the contract termination. Days later, Makiwa told the BBC that his client has rescinded his decision to quit the Turkish club. He declared both parties met to discuss how the issue will be resolved amicably. Anazi, who played a pivotal role in Trabzonspor's sixth-place finish last season, resumed training with the team on Monday in readiness for the upcoming season. Italian Serie A giant Fiorentina has offered £5 million for the midfielder, but it remains to be seen if the Turkish side will agree to sell the player. That was the media news, and just before we go, the major stories once again. Ogun State government stops payment of WAEC fees of public school students. Alaafin of Oyo joins the call for Nigeria's restructuring. Aisha Buhari says God has answered prayers for her husband's illness. Etisalat quits Nigeria. Grenade attack kills 8, injures 43 others in Burundi. A top US commander has warned Iran that ISIS forces are still in captured city of Mosul. For more stories and to listen to us live, please log on to our website www.rockcityfmradio.com/live. Thank you so much for listening. I am Tobi Joseph. Good afternoon.